This is, for those of you who haven't got really good eyesight, this is a family gathering. And I don't know if any of you remember, many years ago when they used to talk about cancer, they'd do a picture of a school photograph or something like that and say one of these people or two of these people are going to get cancer, and I should look at them and think, there's no cancer in my family, that won't be me. This picture was taken in July 2011, and it was the memorial of my grandmother's death, and she died within 3 months of her 100th birthday, so pretty good. And at that time, there was no cancer in our family. Everybody died in their 90s. Yet, within 6 months of that picture being taken, 3 women in their 40s were all diagnosed with cancer, and I was the first. So I was working with Norton High Street on a day of strong brands. You've got Joe Malone, you've got L'Occitane, and I should just quickly tell you how to pronounce L'Occitane. Yeah. L'Occitane. I was working with them. I just had my own business, and life was good. My children were 5 and 6. I'd left the corporate world and been working for myself for a year. And my sister-in-law had set up previously with Holly Tucker, Norton High Street. And she didn't particularly know what I did. And I didn't know what she did, but one day we had lunch and she was moaning about various things, and I said, those are all HR issues, I could help you. And so I was working for them as an interim HR director. At the same time, I brushed my hair one day, and there was a lump in my neck, and it was kind of like a bit of a small grape. And I remember I was on this online forum of mums. Those of us that work, we have an online mum friends, not to make us feel so bad. And then I thought, I've got sort of a lump in my neck. It hasn't been there before, I can't really think of any explanation for it. So go and see a GP, it'll be fine. Went to the GP and he said, well, there could be lots of things, it'll probably be fine. I'll book you for a scan and a blood test. And then it sort of turned into a large grape. And so I went back and said, it's now a large grape, and it hurts a bit. I don't really like having it. What is it? And he said, well, I'll call someone up. I know, I'll ring an ENT consultant and ask him what he thinks, bearing in mind I wasn't present. So he had this conversation and rang me up and said, it could be a bronchial cyst, but I hadn't had a cold and I didn't feel that was probably right. Anyway, I was very lucky because one of my mum friends in the playground works for Macmillan. And she said, that lump you mentioned, where are we with that lump? And I said, well, they're not bothered. Is it still there? She said, yeah. That was a bit big when it hurt. She said, I know you're not going to like this, but why don't we go back to the GP one more time, 3rd time lucky, and I'll come with you. So we went back, and she sort of looked the GP in the eye and said, this meets the criteria for a fast-track referral. And I was referred, and had a horrible thing called, is it a cone biopsy? There's probably medical people that, and it feels like being shot in the neck, basically, and they get a slice of you out and send it off. And carried on working, and didn't really still think that I had cancer. But actually at that meeting, my husband said to the very handsome consultant next to him, Charles, because when you've got a friend choosing a consultant, you did choose a good-looking one, aren't you? Are you very relaxed, you know? Are you not worried? And he went, no, I think 50-50 chance Ruth's got cancer. And Sam, my friend, my neighbour that's here with me today, will remember that because it's the last day of the school term, and I thought, 50% chance that I've got cancer. It was like an ugly word that I did not want in my vocabulary. And I thought, cancer? And then suddenly you think, God, I might have cancer. What does that mean? You know, I'm 50 now. When I was 19, I had a daughter. And bringing her up and working, establishing a career was really difficult. And I met my husband. I can say my current husband, that sounds bad. My husband, and had 2 more children. They're absolutely gorgeous, but they were 5 and 6, and I thought, you know, it is better second time round. You've got more money, you know what you're doing. You say, look, you're going to bed at 7 o'clock, and I'm going out. When you have a baby when you're 19, they sort of say, hang on a minute. I'm not going to bed. What are we going to do together? You know. Anyway, and I thought, I'm really liking this life I've got. Cancer, am I going to die? It really does. Suddenly you think, ooh. So lots of you had cancer. I was talking to someone next to me who said, I had surgery. I didn't have to have chemo and radio. And I thought, surgery? That's not exactly a walk in the park. This is an image that, if you have some of you recognising this, if you're unfortunate enough to have head or neck cancer, you have to have this ugly little thing made for you. And it does fit perfectly, but it's so tight that you can't flutter your eyelashes and you literally can't breathe and you can't speak. and they nail you to the table. It is claustrophobic. And this is where Penny Brohn comes in, because my lovely friend Libby said, I was like, oh my goodness me, I know nothing about cancer, and all you get told about is the treatment. Whereas, of course, what Penny Brohn does is everything else. Mind, body, spirit and emotion. And Libby said, get yourself down there. So I was in between the chemo and before this radio. And I said, I'm going to go have radiotherapy, and they fitted me for a mask. I'm not looking forward to it. And so we learnt some sort of mindfulness techniques, you know. So when I was having that, I was in the south of France with a glass of wine. I wasn't there. I was miles away. And actually, it's one of the positive things that you take with you from the experience. No one would choose that experience, but I got so many positives from it. I would say the worst thing about having cancer, one of the really hard things, and some people will relate to this, is that you immediately lose your identity. You stop being a wife, a mother, a businesswoman, whatever you were before, and you become a cancer victim. And it's all so passive. And for me, the thing that I really found difficult was losing my hair. And I can share with you ladies, as long as you don't tell anyone, that I spent quite a lot of time Googling different types of cancer to see if I might have one of those where there was no chemotherapy, because I didn't want to lose my hair. And I think hopefully I've got neck cancer because you only have radiotherapy and something else. But actually, of course, when I realised, I was talking to the lady next to me, I had lymphoma, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which I had never heard of. And I didn't know lymphoma was a cancer, but I do now. And I had a drug called rituximab, which my consultant was telling me was an amazing drug, and you know, but you will lose your hair. My husband said, it won't be that bad, you know. Look at your dad. Look at Joey. They haven't got hair. I went, what? One of our sort of emotional moments about the cancer journey, and it's a tough gig, and you don't even know that, was when I had to say to him, I needed to shave my head. And that was a really sort of, you know, and the fact that your husband's quite attractive afterwards, and you're just stripping yourself down. But there are positives. You don't have to shave your legs, and all of your pubes have names. So one of the things I got from Penny Brohn was that you're not helpless. That you can go through the treatment, but actually the big thing you've got to turn on is your mind. Do something about your body and your spirit. The body thing is about your immune system, actually, because I was reasonably healthy and I didn't suffer too much, and I had the chemo and I had the radio, but afterwards I thought, I am going to get healthy now. And this is a little picture of me at boot camp, because I had become a boot camp babe. Because I really wanted to do what I could. It's me in the middle. I'm in black. She must have to look thinner. I didn't want to put a picture of myself in orange or pink or anything. Larger, but that's me. I live in a little tiny village in the middle of nowhere, so to start boot camp, I just set it up. But I thought, I'm going to do it. I want to do it. So I got a lot out of Penny Brohn, and the one thing I should just quickly mention was my sister, because my sister was diagnosed 2 months after me. Cancer is a bit of a lottery. You don't know what kind of cancer you're going to get. I wasn't pleased about getting lymphoma, but in retrospect, getting 1A lymphoma was a lot better than what my sister got, which was a stage 4 ovarian cancer. My sister is 17 months younger than me. I'm up here, I'll be talking to you today, because I've always talked for my sister, who was very quiet, and the problem with that was she didn't have anyone pushing her to go back to GP and say, the symptoms you've got actually probably need to be investigated. And she was ignored for years and years and years and told she was depressed, she had IBS, she had ovarian cancer. And sadly for her, she died 10 months later and left 2 boys, 9 and 12. And that's the really hard thing about it. But she did come to Penny Brohn and she loved it. And what she got out of Penny Brohn was respite, somewhere that understood her. Actually, it was a bit of a holiday for her. And one of my friends that came with me described it as a cancer spa, which in a weird way it is, but there's so many more things. So moving on to why I'm actually here, which is to get you all to sponsor lots of money for Penny Brohn. I came twice, in 2011 and 2012. When I first looked at the brochure, I thought, I can't go. They've all got hair. I haven't got any hair. I can't go. And I'm someone that likes wearing hats, but I thought, I can't wear a hat because I see that I haven't got any hair in this bit. It's funny how you sort of start to feel so self-conscious. When I came to Penny Brohn, I'm self-employed and I'm the one that works, I'm a working parent. I was only able to work part-time. I was really juggling my money. The one thing I couldn't have done was donate any money at all to come. But it was massive for me to be able to come here, and I came twice. That's why I'm standing here now, because I vowed that all the people that helped me, all the organisations, and there are others as well, we were talking about Maggie's earlier, I've done something for all of them, because now I'm better, I've been discharged. Lymphoma is one of those ones that actually you can come out the other side. And the fact that I can stand here today and I've built my business up and I'm healthy, and it just seems so far away from the 5 years ago. And Penny Brohn was massive for that. So I should have an envelope and I haven't got one. You've all got one on your tables. I think it says Ruth's Pledge. So if you, there you go. If you would be kind enough to donate anything, it would be wonderful. And I can't emphasise enough what a marvellous cause it is. Thank you very much, David.